Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to my December wrap-up video. In December, I read a total of 5 books. I was slowly coming out of my slump at the end of November. So December kind of started off quite slow and then I had a few DNFs along the way in December. But overall, I'm happy with what I've read and there were some good books in there as well. So my December stats are, obviously I read a total of 5 books spanning across 1,973 pages. 4 of them were 3 stars and 1 of them was a 5-star. That was it. No 1, 2 or 4-star reads in December. 2 were physical and then the other 3 were mixed media, so a mix of physical and audiobook. 4 of them were off my physical TBR. 1 of them was a reread already in my possession. 4 were contemporary and there was 1 romance. All 5 of them were adult, no middle grade and no YA. Those books consisted of Christmas Book Club by Sarah Morgan, Holly Jolly Ever After by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone, The Vintage Shop by Louis Page, Secrets of Happiness by Lucy Diamond, and I Heart Forever by Lindsay Kelk. Also just wanted to say sorry for the lighting. It is absolutely disgusting weather outside today. This is the first time I've used my ring light in this filming setup since moving out of the house a year ago. I haven't really needed to use my ring light. I need to get videos filmed today because there's so much end of year content that I just need to put the ring light on. So yes, if the lighting is a little bit orange or yellow, that is why, but I actually think it's quite cozy, so I hope you don't mind it. But going back to books, the first book I finished in December was the 5-star book. December started off so strong. I read Sarah Morgan's The Christmas Book Club and I gave it 5 stars. I thought this book was so cute. I actually picked this book up in Tesco on a club card deal because I was just looking, having a little bit of a browse, and then I saw that the words Christmas and book club were in the title and I was like, I can't not at least try this book. And then it went straight up to my top of my TBR because it was December and I wanted some cozy Christmas reads, and that's exactly what I got from this book. I find, a lot of the time I find that Christmas books tend to be so kind of Christmassy. They end up trying to be so Christmassy that they're not really Christmassy at all, or the plot's not there because that's all they've kind of focused on. I thought this was the perfect balance between plot and it feeling festive and cozy. So this book basically follows 3 best friends who are friends since uni, but they don't tend to see each other very often anymore and they all have very different lives. But every year, in the summer usually, they come together to read 1 book together during a week and then discuss it throughout the week, and they all kind of like read it together and they have a little book club, which is very, very cute. But this year, for some reason, they ended up having their book club in the summer, so they decided to do it at Christmas instead. And one of the characters finds Maple Sugar Inn, which is the ultimate Hallmark Christmas cozy cabin that they end up going to and staying at for the week to host their book club. Throughout that week, they kind of reconnect, secrets get spilled, and there's just a lot of like heartwarming moments but also some like drama, and it was just really, really cute. You actually follow 4 perspectives, so you follow each 3 of the friends and then you also follow the owner Hattie, who is the owner of Maple Sugar Inn, and they all kind of like interlink, and it was just like the perfect sort of book for me. Christmas, cozy cabin, book club, as well as like 4 female friends trying to figure out life, and I just absolutely adored it. I definitely think this will be like a go-to Christmas book I read every single year now. The next book I read to try and keep me in the Christmas spirit was The Holly Jolly Ever After by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This is the 2nd book in the companion, I don't know if it's a series, duology, I don't know. But the first one is A Merry Little Meet Cute. Both of them were kindly gifted to me by Half a Fiction, the publisher, so thank you very much. I read A Merry Little Meet Cute when they sent it to me in 2021, I believe, and then they kindly sent me the next book, which I read in December. However, I remember enjoying The Merry Little Meet Cute, but feeling like all it was smut. There was no kind of like big plot going on, and I found it to be the exact same. So if you're looking for like a Christmas smut book, then I think you could really enjoy this if you go in with it with no expectation of it being like an actually good, subjective book. For me, I didn't ever feel that connected to the characters, and I thought it was one of those books where you wanted it to be really cozy and festive and it just didn't really deliver in that aspect. And when it's marketed as a Christmas book, I want those aspects to kind of be the forefront of the story, and it just, personally for me, the smut and sex scenes just kind of like took over. This book basically followed 2 main characters told in dual perspective once again. You follow Winnie Baker, who is an actress, but due to a photo getting leaked, she kind of ends up losing her kind of acting career because she kind of gets into a scandal and no one wants to employ her anymore. And then you also follow Callum, who is an ex-boy band member and one of his sex tapes accidentally gets leaked, but then he gives permission for that sex tape to be out in the world. So his reputation is also on the line. Being in the same world as A Merry Little Meet Cute, both of them end up doing a adult Christmas film to try and regain some reputation in a good way for them, and then obviously a romance ensues from there, as you can kind of guess. But it was very smut heavy, like a 4 out of 5 on the smut level, I would say. So beware, depending on your interests when it comes to romance books, of what this book will kind of entail for you. But for me personally, the smut kind of like overtook it in terms of like actual plot, and I just ended up not really feeling connected to the characters. I didn't really care for the plot, unfortunately. So yeah, unfortunately this wasn't a hit for me. I gave it a 3 star. Having felt a little bit overdone with Christmas books, so I decided to pick up The Vintage Shop by Libby Page. This actually a book that Mark picked out. I gave him a few options and he picked this one. I had high hopes for this one. Once again, Libby Page, I used to say she's one of my favourite authors, when really only one book that she's written has been a hit with me, and that was A 24-Hour Cafe. All the others kind of haven't really hit the spot for me, so I'm still waiting for that next 5-star book from her. This one follows 3 female characters, all kind of interlinked in a unique way. They're all interlinked by a vintage yellow dress. You follow Lou, decides to set up her own vintage clothes shop because that's where her passion lies, and her mother ends up passing away, and that's kind of like her dying wish for her daughter to do something that she's really passionate in. So Lou goes on the adventure of opening this vintage dress shop, and the dress in the window is this yellow dress. You then follow Donna, who lives in New York with her family. She's getting on absolutely fine, and then one day a secret gets revealed where she goes on a journey, and she ends up going to Lou's dress shop for some unknown reason. As a reader, you don't know yet until the story starts to unfold, so I'm not going to spoil it here for you guys. And then you follow Maggie, who's in her 70s, and she stumbles upon Lou's dress shop because Maggie also lives in the same village as Lou. And looking at all the vintage dresses really brings back some memories for Maggie. And then from then, Donna, Lou and Maggie all kind of like interlink, and it's a story about friendship and finding yourself and following your passions. And I did enjoy it, but unfortunately the first half of the book was way stronger than the second half, and by the end I just didn't really have that much of a connection to the characters. I was loving this book at the beginning, like so much so that I thought it could potentially be a 5-star. But then it just kind of like, I lost a little bit of interest. I feel like the intrigue of this story behind the yellow dress didn't really like follow through to the end of the story. And like I said, I lost a little bit of interest. So I enjoyed it. I love Libby Page's writing style, so I don't think I'm going to not read her books anymore, but I'm just kind of like hoping there's another 5-star on the horizon for me from Libby Page. The next book I read was another book from, as I class, a favourite author. But now I'm questioning that as well. So I read The Secrets of Happiness by Lucy Diamond. I've loved some Lucy Diamond books, but mainly when they follow the dynamic of a female character having to uproot her life to start again. This one doesn't follow that kind of plot dynamic. This one follows 2 stepsisters, Becca and Rachel. When Rachel accidentally goes missing one day, Becca has to be called in to look after Rachel's children. They haven't spoken to each other in a year or so because of something that has happened between them that, as you as the reader, don't know yet what's about to happen. Becca ends up looking after Rachel's children, and through that she ends up having to figure out where Rachel's gone, why she's left, etc., through kind of like clues in her house. And then it says on the blurb, sometimes happiness can be found in the most unexpected places. In the reverse of The Vintage Shop by Libby Page, this one started off really, really slow, and I just really wasn't vibing with it at all, so much so that I decided to switch to the audiobook. But by like the 3/4 way mark, I was actually really enjoying it, and I thought the ending was really cute, and by the end I was invested in the characters. But once again, it was one of those books where I was just kind of like, it was good, I enjoyed it, but I can't really take anything away from it. It's not that memorable, and it was just like a good book for the period of time that I was in, but it's kind of forgettable in a year or so once I've read lots of other books. So once again, I gave this book a 3-star. The last book I read in December, and the last book I technically read of 2024, because I thought I was going to read another book between finishing this one and the end of the year, but I didn't because I decided to DNF it, and that was My Grandma Sends Her Regards and Apologies by Frederick Buckman. And once again, I'm doubting one of my favourite authors. What is happening? So I DNF that one. So technically the last book I finished in December and my last book of 2024 was a reread, and that was a reread of I Heart Forever by Lindsay Kelk. If you don't know, hi, I'm Rachel. I'm obsessed with the I Heart series by Lindsay Kelk, and I'm currently rereading the entire series, tabbing them up and writing in them to make them part of my Forever collection. This is book 6 out of 7 in the series, so I'm so close to finishing my reread. I enjoyed this book, but once again, it wasn't my favourite book in the series. So if you didn't know, the I Heart series by Lindsay Kelk follows our main character Angela. In the first one, she ends up finding out that her fiance has cheated on her at her best friend's wedding. So like any rational person, Angela decides to jet off to New York and start a life again. She meets new friends, new men, and finally goes into a career of her dream job of becoming a writer. From then, you follow each book as Angela goes on different adventures around the world. You have I Heart Hawaii, I Heart Paris, I Heart London, and it's just a really fun, easy story for me, and I just absolutely love them, and I love the series as a whole. There are definitely books in that series that I prefer than others. This one was a solid 3.5 stars if I were to give out 0.5 star ratings, and I always go back to Goodreads once I finish rereading each book to see what I originally rated them and what I originally thought of the book. And as I was rereading the review of this one from when I first read it in 2018, I had the exact same opinions. And so I quote, "I really enjoyed this edition of Angela's story and loved how Sissy's relationship with Angela grew throughout. Sissy is one of the side characters in this book. She causes a lot of the drama across the series. However, the ending felt very rushed. Still agree with that. I know Lindsay Kelk is currently writing the next book, so that is obviously out. That was the conclusion of the series, I Heart Hawaii. I'm excited to see where the story goes. I'm truly invested in the whole series. There have been ups and downs with the ratings for each book in the series, but overall I've thoroughly enjoyed my time at reading all these books. And I have thoroughly enjoyed my time at rereading all these books, and I love the fact that they're now all tabbed up and written in for my Forever collection. So this was the last book I read in December and the end of the year, and you know what? It was actually quite a nice way to wrap up the end of the year, kind of going into a world that I know, that I'm familiar with, I know I love the characters, I know that Lindsay Kelk will make me smile and make me laugh out loud, and it was just a nice way to end the year, and I'm really excited to see what 2024 has in store for me in terms of reading. Hopefully completing my reread of the I Heart series, that would be ideal. So those are all the books I read in the month of December. Not my strongest reading month, either in ratings or quantity, but I did have a 5-star, and this has definitely become one of my favourite books of the year. I loved how cosy and warm it was. I loved the female friendships. I loved the plot. It was just so festive and so cozy, and I think it's probably one of those books I just read at the perfect time, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and obviously that was a 5-star. So some misses for sure, but there was definitely a hit, which I can't complain about. Let me know what you read in the month of December. Which one was your favourite book? Did you read any Christmas tea books? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll add them to my Christmas TBR for 2024. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe down below to see future content from me. I do anything from reading vlogs, monthly TBRs, monthly wrap-ups, and any other book content that you can think of. I usually have it on this channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.